Hi, everyone. Now let's take a minute to talk about dividends, policy dividends, or IBC dividends in a policy. First of all, we've heard that word before, often in the investment space, and dividends are typically going to be paid out when a company is profitable each year, or sometimes they pay out quarterly. And think of it as a group or company profit sharing with all of these shareholders or the part owners of that company. So that's what a dividend is in the investment sense. With IBC policies or permanent whole life policies, the dividend is a little bit different because whereas with public companies, these dividends are taxable, understood as profits that a company is able to generate year over year. Dividends for IBC policies are not. Okay, and I should say air quote dividends. What they really are, you could think of them as returns of premium. Okay, because this is an ongoing rolling basis that we're paying our premiums to get a benefit, which is that death benefit, right? And it grows each year. So first off, to get an idea, historically within the mutual dividend paying company space, the annual dividend rates you can expect anywhere from the low fours to the low 6%. That's about the industry average among the best companies. But again, people focus on the dividend rate. It's not about the dividend rate because the dividend rate, okay, is applied against, everyone says it's your cash values. To be hyper accurate, it's literally applied to your policy's statutory cash value reserve. Okay, and that's going to be an amount that's less than your stated cash values on any illustration or annual statement. Okay, that being the case, that is also added to three other factors, or there are three other factors that are also incorporated to give you that net dividend dollar amount. And this includes mortality expense surpluses, expenses surpluses throughout the year for cost of administration and doing business generally, as well as interest investment, surplus. So just know that that dividend crediting has other factors that are added to it to give you that final dividend dollar amount. And finally, this varies across all companies. So you could easily have company A with $50,000 cash value in this policy, company B with the same $50,000 cash value. Okay. Each of them have a 5% dividend, and you would expect them each to have the same dividend credit. Well, that's not true. And actually, I would probably bet that they would always end up different dollars. That's not to say that the rates are different, but the way that this dividend is credited varies across the companies. Just know that. So furthermore, we've got the dividend scale or the percentage. We've got the dividend dollars. Now, what about those dividend dollars? Whatever they may be, okay, how do they affect your policy? Well, the next question would be, how are these dividends treated in your policy? There's a number of different, we call them dividend elections, that a policy is directed to take. And the default might be to, as cash, just like any company, when the dividend's paid in cash, great. You get $1,000 dividend, you're better off by $1,000. That's how much you could buy. That's how much it's worth. IBC policies are different. They're always going to have that paid up additions at the rider. And a rider is just a feature we add to a policy that directs those dividend dollars as soon as they're calculated, whatever they are, to buy us additional fully paid up death benefit. Okay, fully paid up, right? So right away, that death benefit's going to be increased by that amount. Another fun fact is that the increase to your death benefit is never going to be dollar for dollar what your dividends, were worth. You're using today dollars, right, of dividends to buy that cheap future death benefit. So it tends to be, on a much greater than dollar for dollar basis that tree, if you remember, gets taller because of that dividend crediting. And then furthermore, this affects your cash values because remember, your cash value has to race up to catch that tree or that death benefit. And if it increases by X amount of dollars every year, the cash value actuarially must grow by X plus Y or an amount more than that, or it will never eventually catch it, which it always does at age 121 or so. Okay, what else can we say? Just to recap, dividends, okay? Everybody talks about the dividend scale or the rate of the dividend that most companies compare against. That's all fine and good at the water cooler to kind of bluster with, but trust me, the dividend rate is just the first piece among many pieces that have to flow through before the ultimate arbiter or your actual cash value increase year over year is calculated. And even at the same dividend, and I've seen it, trust me, where you have a company with a lower dividend rate actually perform with a higher net cash value growth year over year than the other company that had a higher dividend rate because of all these machinations and different calculations along the way. Each of which companies have, very tight controls over and are very guarded in their formulations. So I know it's a complicated topic, but I just wanted to make sure we understand. Don't sweat the dividend. As my mentor always says, I don't care about the dividend. We don't spend it or, use it anyways, especially while we're building up the policies. So just let them do what they're built to do, which is bias additional paid up additions, push that, death benefit ever so higher and force that cash value to chase it up all the way along. So hope this helps, and I'll see you all next time.